Hello, peeps. Hello. Jesus, what a day. What the hell is going on? Well, I'm waiting on Stephen Greenstreet. We have a lot to cover. I'm just mind blown. I'm just mind blown. So the DOD deleted Louis Elizondo's email correspondence and whatever he sent. And let me see. There's more. There's more. And he's starting a law case, which is quite, an escalation of this whole thing. I talked to Louis as well as Senator Reid this week, talked about all of this, but I never saw this coming. Wow. Um, so I'm really curious what Stephen has to say about all of this. You know, let me see. No, he's not in yet. I don't see him yet, but he'll get in. He'll get in. Well, and Jeremy is going to release, I think another UAP video, which, you know, of course, that is always quite an event. Jeremy, he's a warrior. I love that guy. He never ceases to surprise me. He always comes out with new things. Whatever people think of it, the critics, they immediately jump on it and they, you know, try to debunk whatever he is revealing. But he is revealing. And you have to commend that. Jeremy is a warrior, and at least he is doing something. He's trying to explore this. He's trying to reveal something. Nobody else, well, not everybody, but a lot of people, they just refuse to do that, especially in the media land. I'm also trying to see if Jeremy already released something. I can't wait. And in the meanwhile, I'm waiting for Steven. So, how are you guys doing? Hi, Steve Fletcher. Hi, Drew Morris. Hey, Feb Privat. Lowland Speed. Dutchie. Always love when a Dutchie jumps in the mix. So, let me see. Will you be able to talk about whatever Jeremy Corbell will be releasing? You know what? We might talk about it live. So, stay put, guys. Stay put. This might get interesting. Um, well, I hope my connection is good. Do you guys see me? Can you guys hear me? Is there like a breakup or something? Or, is the connection okay? Man, what a day, what a day. So let me move this a little bit. Is this better? No. Is this better? No. Well, let's keep it like this. I see the Dutchies showing me the love. Hello, Jos de Leister. You guys are awesome. I can't wait. This might, I maybe have to change this light. It's a bit yellowish. Let me see. Yeah, that's better. All right, this. Too cold. No, I'll take this one. Just crank it up a little bit. There we go. Alrighty. Well, sun is setting in Amsterdam, as you can see. We have a great. We had a shitty spring. It was raining all the time. It was cold, but apparently tomorrow, summer's coming. The sun is coming. So, did you guys enjoy the Louis Elizondo and Harry Reid podcasts? There were some things revealed. I really enjoyed that. All right. Okay, Steven should be showing up anytime now. Let me see if he sent me something. Oh, he's coming in about 10 minutes. I'm a bit early. I'm way bit early. So, man, what the hell is going on? Why is this escalating so quickly? Let me see what I can read for you guys, whatever is here on the Politico website. So let me. Oh, this is actually Black Vault. I love Black Vault. This guy is a warrior. He's always coming with new things. He's such a treasure of information. It's crazy. But why would they delete all this mail? It's so suspicious. It's so suspicious. What are they hiding? Why are they discrediting him? It's just crazy. Yeah, yeah. In the comments, someone said it's the Inspector General complaints that might have been the reason for this escalating so fast. But this is like a civil war now. Within the DoD, they're just fighting in the streets. And publicly. Oh, there's Stephen. Come on in, Stephen.
Hey.
Stephen, my brother. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can hear and see you.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me? All right, hold on.
You are on mute, I think.
Let's see. Audio. Logitech.
Still
You can't
can't
hear
hear
me?
you. Oh, now I know why. I didn't put my ears in.
Now can you hear me?
Stephen,
Yeah.
now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. Stephen,
Yeah.
welcome, my friend. This is the first time we are talking to each other, and what a day to talk to each other for the first damn time.
Ridiculous, man. You see these
What's
you see
going
this,
on?
you see this dark purple? It's like I haven't
Yeah.
slept in like a month.
Oh my lord, yeah, there's so much going on. Hey, but we have a lot to cover, my friend.
Yeah.
But let me kick this off. I'm a big fan of your, the Basement Office. I watch it all the time. I really enjoy your style, and well, great honor to have you as my guest.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me on. This is great.
Yeah. So, Steven, let's just kick this off. What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck's going on with what? With so what's going on right now?
Yeah, with the let me see, the emails of Louis Elizondo being deleted by the DoD.
Okay.
They're covering up.
Yeah, so that's all John Greenwald at the Black Vault. John's been working on that, I mean, literally for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And tracking down, and the thing about John is he's all about like the documents, the Freedom of Information Act, the paper trail, like all of that stuff. And he has been trying to get a hold of, among many things, Lou Elizondo's emails from when he was at the Pentagon.
Right.
This is something that belongs to us, American citizens, the taxpayer. We should be able to see that. And just roadblocks, left and right, roadblocks. He had to file appeals. He was granted appeals, and then, as it turns out, as you can see, in his report this morning, those emails, per the Pentagon, were deleted. They're gone.
Wow. That's like such a that's like panic. That's sheer panic. They just delete evidence. It's like Watergate.
Yeah. We should keep in mind that it is standard protocol. After a certain amount of time, the government will and has deleted email accounts, deleted documents, and there's a paper trail that shows when they did that, why they did that, etc. But with Lou, this is something that a lot of people were asking for and filing legal papers for, litigating for, and then in that process to have that stuff deleted, that would be like, an ongoing court case where evidence may or may not exist, and the prosecution's trying to find that evidence, and then it turns out the evidence was destroyed.
Yes.
Like, what
This,
the heck?
yeah, this is why I kicked off with a big WTF.
Yeah.
Well, because, first of all, you see this clear pattern. First there was the misinformation, then there was the discrediting of Louis. The jumping in of the senators, Reid, Mellon, Rubio, in on behalf of Louis Elizondo. And now it's just, throwing everything under the bus. They are just deleting this. What do you think the part of the Inspector General is in this thing? Is it like, they felt the heat of the Inspector General, or what is going on?
Well, I think the Pentagon's getting themselves into a complete mess, just an absolute mess. And
understatement.
Yeah, and it's the why. The why they've decided to take this route is one of the ongoing questions that we hope to have an answer to. But the Inspector General evaluation, as they're calling it, the one that was announced, the big one, the big official one, I think that was public pressure from Congress. Congressional leaders basically said, hey, IG, what the hell's going on? You guys need to figure this out. Right. Tim McMillan at the debrief, those guys, they reported that the IG evaluation came from Congress. Congressional leaders want to know because their constituents want to know. The people want to know. And so it's gotten to that level. Now, you should keep in mind there are more than one IG evaluations going on.
Yeah.
In Politico just reported last night, and it's continuing today, that, Lou Elizondo himself filed a complaint against the Pentagon via his lawyer, Danny Sheehan.
Yeah, and that's a heavyweight.
And then you read that Politico article, and they list verbatim some of the things within that complaint, and Lou's going after them hard. Like he's accusing some pretty serious stuff. I mean, basically, they're lying.
Yeah. And you know what? This is turning into a civil war almost. They're just rolling around in the street, punching each other in the nuts.
That's one way to put it. Yeah.
So I just talked to Louis on my podcast. It was on the 23rd. It's like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And Louis, he's a very humble man. He hardly says anything negative, even about the DOD or the Pentagon. But I felt a little bit of a fire in him already. There is a reason why he got involved with Mr. Sheehan. He felt this coming. I know he felt this coming. He was preparing for this. Louis was preparing for a war. That's why he got involved with the Sheehan. Did you see this coming? Did you think this was going to escalate the way it did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so just to take you back, in May of 2019, the New York Post, I wrote an article. We were the first one to break the news that the Pentagon officially was admitting that ATIP investigated UFOs. They had never said that ever before. And that statement came via Pentagon spokesperson Chris Sherwood.
Right.
So he says that ATIP was UFOs, but he also released a statement saying Lou had no responsibilities with ATIP. Yeah. And I called Chris and I was like, what do you mean he had nothing to do with ATIP? Like, the guy's on the History Channel. He's in the front page of the New York Times. He's in Rolling Stone, Politico. He's all over the place saying he was. You can't just say, nah. I need more. I need more than that. And so I didn't want to release just a statement. I wanted employment records, emails, anything that could back up the Pentagon stance that Lou was not telling the truth.
Right.
Give me something. So I was working with Chris for a couple days, maybe even a week, and back and forth. Yeah, I'll get you the employment records. Yeah, well, I'm dealing with this office and they're roadblocks. So
And Chris is your colleague.
Chris Sherwood was the Pentagon spokesman.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Who I was interacting with. And I called him and I said, bro, like, what is going on over there at the Pentagon? I asked you a yes or no question. Yes or no. Did Lou Elizondo have any responsibilities as director of ATIP? Yes or no. That's all I want. I don't need a week-long drawn-out thing. Just say yes or no. And Chris sighed and he said, I'm not really happy with the way they're handling this story over here.
I heard your story about that. Yeah.
So in May or June 2019, my head was already going like, oh my God, something's going on inside the Pentagon where, Chris was obviously uncomfortable telling me stuff. He was being told to tell me stuff that he didn't feel comfortable with.
Right.
And I was like, wow, there's like a little civil war going on in the Pentagon. And that was 2 years ago. So like, who knows like what that has like built up to at this point.
Yeah.
It's probably something ugly. And, I think the Politico report that came out last night, and we haven't heard that last of it. That's going to develop into something bigger. It's going to get nasty. I honestly think it's going to get so weird and nasty.
Well, it already got really, really weird because, when I was talking to Louis, he basically folded out for me what might be the actual problem. He had a quote when he talked to one of his senior officers that, why aren't we investigating this phenomenon more? And the dude said, we already know what it is. It's demons.
Of course it is.
It's demons and ghosts and warlocks and goblins. We all know that. Witches on brooms. But this might actually be the actual really futile problem. It is a religious issue we might be facing over here. There can be extraterrestrial life or something unknown. It must be Biblish or, something like that. Do you think it comes down to that? It would be really, really weird.
Okay, so to answer your question, if I believe it's going to come down to demons, do I think it's fucking demons running around? No, I don't. I'm not there. I don't think it's devils. I don't think it's the devil flying around our skies.
No, it's not. It's not. But if the problem is religious people can't cope with change,
Sure.
Yeah.
But to speak to Lou's point, it does contrast with a lot of classic religion. It
for sure
flies in the face, and religious people who hold on to define their lives based upon that religion. If they're confronted with something that might negate their beliefs, that's earth shattering. And so it's natural to have a reaction to that and say, no, and shut it down. Demons, shut it down. It must conform to my religious beliefs and thus it is this. But that happens all the time. But the fact that it's happening at the highest levels in the Pentagon,
it's ridiculous.
Where crucial national security decisions must be made. And if those anecdotes are true of, no, I want you to, Lou says this. He says, the guy said, I want you to stop. I want you to stop investigating this because it's demons. Like, please, can we get someone else in there to like look at it just a little more rationally? Like, I'm okay. Like, if it ends up at demons, like if we end up there, like, hell yeah, let's call the Pope.
Stephen, it's not demons. There's stuff coming from outer space. It's intelligent.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I'm fine with wherever the explanation goes. I'm open-minded to like accept wherever the final definition goes.
I'm gonna go with Louis.
Yeah,
Just the facts, ma'am.
yeah,
What do we see? We see vehicles. We don't see demons. We see things that move around. Um, you know, it's just intelligent technology we do not have.
yeah, yeah. Some of the stuff, some of the cases, like I have a handful of cases that I personally am fascinated by, just absolutely blown away by, because I struggle to find a rational explanation for them. I mean, the Fravor Dietrich Tic Tac
Right.
is one of them. The St. Clair Triangle in the year 2000, where you've got a massive black triangle flying from town to town, and the audio of the police and law enforcement tracking this thing has been released. You can listen to them tracking, and they're saying it's massive. It's not making any sound. It's hovering and then darting off at like light speed. And
Yeah.
you listen to this audio of law enforcement, and you're like, what the hell were they looking at? You can't deny that that was there, that they saw something. And so with a lot of these cases, yes, it defies all logic, defies all current understanding of classical physics.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Well,
what?
I'm from the Netherlands. You're actually kind of looking at Amsterdam right now. Look.
Ah, hey,
So we have a big case in the Netherlands, and I don't know. Maybe you've heard me tell about this or someone else. It's the Soesterberg case. Um, it was a military base in central Netherlands, shared with the Americans. And this case was in 1979, in the middle of the Cold War. It's still classified, but everybody knows. The Americans stocked nuclear weapons in Europe, also in the Netherlands, and it's now disclosed this place was one of those places. So what happened on a cold, very very early morning? Well, it must have been 4 o'clock in the morning or something. 12 Dutch military men were witness to a triangle of 40 meters wide hovering over their heads. 12 men, 12 witnesses over their heads, illuminating the whole airfield, shooting off a beam where probably the nukes were, and shooting off like a bullet fired into the sky. Not just those military men witnessed that, also civilians in the area. And guess what? We have a UAP heat map in the Netherlands, and guess where it's scalding?
that site,
There.
yeah. That reminds me of it's very familiar to the Belgian triangle wave, and then also to the Rendlesham UFO triangle case.
Let me tell you this: Rendlesham was just a year later,
Yeah,
and very close, England, just across the North Sea.
and look, this is the thing that strikes me on top of everything is you've got these cases, these documented witness cases of unidentified craft over sensitive airspace, nuclear sensitive airspace, buzzing warships, flying over sensitive locations, ballistic missile locations in Guam. This is, like Lou says, a national security intelligence failure that would eclipse anything this country has ever experienced, more than 9/11. The fact that this is being laughed at, the fact that this is being dismissed and ignored.
No, it's demons.
Because it's whatever, the stigma behind a UFO sighting at the highest levels is dismissing a potentially dangerous incident. Something, I mean, I'm an American citizen. I don't want unknown crazy stuff flying over my airplanes, my airports, my nuclear weapon sites, my military. I don't want to feel like that's just being brushed off and not taken seriously.
And also, Louis had the comparison with India, Pakistan, the conflict. What if those UAPs take down Pakistani warheads, and they take that as a gesture of war from India, and now you might have a nuclear war on your hands? it's a dangerous game. It's not to take lightly.
And transparency and rationality would solve all of this. Like, this is just a
Right.
conversation that just needs to happen at the highest levels. And it isn't until recently that that conversation is beginning to happen, finally. But it's something the American people, the public in general, worldwide, they just deserve to know. Like, I'm fine. I'm okay with accepting that it was a balloon, or that it was a foreign drone, surveillance drones spying. I'm fine with any explanation. I'm not demanding you tell me it's aliens. I just want to know what's going on and what are they doing about it. Like,
Look, we
bare
don't
minimum.
know. We simply do not know if it's extraterrestrial. It could be some parallel civilization on Earth. We don't know, but we cannot disqualify anything because it's here, and it's a problem. We can't identify it. So yeah, well, this is a science thing. Actually, it's not a. People should be more open to change. They shouldn't be so caught up with being scared of the unknown.
Yeah, and there's a vanity, I think, with human beings. There's an ego,
Right.
that especially nowadays. I have an iPhone and an electric car, so we've pretty much figured out everything.
Right.
There's this vanity that, like, we have discovered everything because we can see everything, but that's not necessarily true. There's a lot that human beings have yet to discover, and Lou even infers this, that there's stuff right in front of our eyes, outside of the visual spectrum that the human brain can interpret, right in front of our eyes, but we can't see it. And it's a lot of this stuff, it takes time. Quantum physics is something new. It's relatively new. It's something we're just starting to understand. And
Right.
for a comparison, DNA. DNA was first seen in like 1860. DNA. It wasn't really fully started to be understood until the 1950s, almost 100 years later, that after it was discovered, that we started to understand it. And it wasn't until the 80s that forensic scientists started using DNA and crimes as evidence. So you're talking about 100+ years from discovery to, like, fully kind of understanding it, that happening. And so with quantum physics, when you talk about things like warp bubbles and stuff like that, we're only on the beginning phases of, like, diving into that stuff.
Look, Stephen, like in the last 100 years, we started driving cars, flying planes, having access to all information with one push on a button. Before that time, we were farming, making fires, killing each other, and basically that was about it. So there is something going on. We are very immature in our evolutionary timeline yet. There's a lot to come, and we are very, very young as a species too. If you look, like, say, the dinosaurs existed for millions and millions of years, roaming the earth. Humankind has been here for our humankind, the way we are, what, 40, 50,000 years. Look, we were basically just born.
We just got here. If the
Yeah.
Empire State Building, if the Empire State Building represented the timeline
Right.
of Earth, humanity would be a postage stamp at the top of the peak.
Right.
That's how brief our existence.
Yeah. We still have the fur,
Yeah. Yeah. We saw fur.
Hey, did you see my interview with Harry Reid the other day?
I saw snippets of it. Yes.
I kicked it off because there was this interview with former President Barack Obama at James Cordell's talk show,
Right.
and he, in a fucking comedian talk show, discloses he knew about UAPs.
Yeah.
So that was like the first question I wanted to ask Senator Reid, because I know he had close ties with President Obama.
Sure.
And do you know what Reid? I asked him, Did you discuss UAPs with President Obama? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. They talked about that. This was known to President Obama. It blew my damn mind that Harry Reid and President Obama were talking UAP.
Yeah.
Now, taking back whatever is going on. Whoa, thank you, Scott. Somebody gave me money for the first time in my life on the internet. What the hell?
Hell yeah, Scott.
You know, this week I went through 1,000 subscribers, and but this is the first dude to give me $20. Scott, I love you.
Hell
All right.
yeah.
So, damn, I'm so overwhelmed by getting money.
Yeah. Welcome to the welcome to the show.
Yeah, what do you think about, this was probably all known to all presidents, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton,
Well, yeah, I think some presidents took more of an interest than others, but if you look at the pattern of how information is presented to a president, that president is presented with a crap ton of information, of briefings every day. And in order to reach that level of the president, it has gone through like a billion other subcommittees and briefings, and then it ends up as a presentation to him. Now, Lou says he tried to get Secretary Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, briefed on UAP, and he constantly was hitting a ceiling and a roadblock.
Right.
They didn't want Mattis, according to Lou, briefed on UAP. They didn't want that information in the Secretary's hands. So using that as an analogy, that is probably also happening with U.S. presidents. It's not reaching, all of it's not reaching that level. Now, you've got presidents like Clinton, who is proactively interested and is
Yes.
proactively asking about it. And then you've got presidents who perhaps just don't care that much, Trump seemed to brush it off as like, I believe the Navy pilots saw something, but, I don't believe in it. And there was a kind of like wink, wink with Trump. And, with Biden doesn't even want anything to do with it, at least for now. I mean, if you saw that statement where he was just like, nope, and then just walked away. He walked away so fast that he forgot to take his mic off, and his mic like leashed him back. I mean, that guy was out of there. He just needed to get off that stage.
He didn't want to burn his fingers on that one. It was, oh my Lord. Yeah. Did you, by the way, when we talk about whatever we are seeing in the skies, or what your armed forces, our armed forces are noticing in the sky, I asked Louis a question about the shapes. Did you see what he told me?
Are you talking about the warp bubble and the 3D versus 2D interpretations?
No. So I asked him, why do we see different shape UAP in the sky? Like you can see a disc, you can see a tic tac, you can see a cigar.
Well, it's because one object, two object, three object, right? Yes.
Yeah. Well, take all the shapes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Continue.
Take all the shapes. Just think of a shape. Now, he started drawing me out. And, my question, of course, was, do you see if each shape has a certain task, or they have a certain skill or ability? And then he started drawing. And he started with the cigar, then came the orbs, then came, I think, a disc, and eventually, and you have to see this. I will extend you this clip. It came together, and you got the triangle. All these shapes form the triangle. So the triangle is like the mother ship, and these things can like move apart from each other. This is why, if you take into account the Puerto Rican footage, if
Right.
you remember, the one that submerges under the ocean,
Yeah.
comes out, splits in two, right?
Yeah. I'm familiar with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically explained now, but I don't know how they came to that conclusion, but it makes a lot of sense.
I yeah, I mean, I don't know if it makes any sense, but I do want to know how they came to that conclusion. I mean, to say that like a mothership, the triangles are motherships, and the saucers are like the little like vessels that come out of the mothership. I mean, this is like, again, like I struggle with this stuff. I'm like, what are we talking about here? You know, like
Okay. I
that's
get it.
like
Yeah.
so high level. Like, dude, man, I
But
can't.
if Lou Elizondo, displays this to me and to anybody looking at that, this is coming from a source, and they have a lot more data information. They've seen a lot more, which is classified. So there is a reason why Lou is showing me this little thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me as a journalist, and especially someone who didn't really come into this until 2 years ago. So there are your ufologists that have been doing this for decades and
Dude,
following, you
I'm
know,
also in for just like 1 or 2 years.
yeah, yeah. And so I hear a story like that, and I'm like, okay, so if Lou is who he says he is, and it's turning out to be that, like, yeah, he was and is,
Yeah.
then why? Then maybe I have to lend more credence to what he's saying he believes, or what he saw. And some of that stuff, just on face value, you can't just say, oh, okay, so that's how it is. Like, I want to dig deeper, like I'm hearing triangles are motherships, and I want to dig deeper. I want,
Those are my words, by the way. It's a
yeah,
mothership. Those are my words.
okay,
Those are my conclusions. That's not
yeah.
Lou.
But still,
Um,
even that hypothesis, to hear
yeah.
that hypothesis, uh, I don't want to just accept that at face value. I want to say, okay, well then let's figure this out, man. Like,
Yeah.
I like,
But this is the thing. This is the thing. I know Lou has been really pushing to release data, and data is going to be released along with footage, which is so important. He wants this out, and it's coming.
let me just take a step back and say, UFOs are
Hmm.
fun. They're
Definitely.
fun. It's
Yeah.
it's thrilling. It's amazing. There's a level of escapism. If you look at UFO entertainment, and documentaries and History Channel and Discovery, all of it's presented as fun,
Right.
escapism. And so that is psychologically how most people attach UFOs. It's
Right.
fun, it's amazing, it's thrilling. And so, yeah, sure, let's throw out stories about, motherships, and let's throw out stories about interdimension and stuff like that. But for me, I think we need to divorce ourselves from that a bit, because
Yeah.
everything gets thrown into the same bucket. There's so many. When you look at the Navy hazard reports that came from the East Coast,
Right.
when you actually look at the documents, they're not describing something amazing. They're not describing something otherworldly. They're describing balloons, quadcopter drones, and all of that stuff gets thrown into the same bucket. And I think we need to sift through that a bit and separate some of this stuff. Some of it's amazing, Rendlesham, the Tic Tac, that, put it over here. But some of the stuff might very well be dangerous, threatening, not fun cases of adversaries spying on the United States right off the coast.
Right.
Like literally right there. Like there's China and or Russia hanging out. But because everyone says UFO and puts it in the bucket, they're not even looking at it that way. It could very well could be, and no one is having that conversation. I think that's the first conversation, because, hey man, let's admit it. Russia and China has a precedent for wanting to kill us Aliens don't.
Okay, but let me see if look for me this glass is a bit half full, and
Okay.
you know why? Because the skeptics or people the debunkers, always disqualified people, even mentioning the topic of UFOs or UAPs as aluminum foil idiots or weirdos, and they are mostly. But now the armed forces come out with actual footage and they show it. I think it deserves a chance. You need to investigate this.
Hmm.
And, if people who are highly trained, highly educated, run programs for the Pentagon, are veterans in the US Army, and they say, no, this is real. I stand behind this, and I am taking a chance. Like Lou, he's taking a chance. He released that footage. He did that in a tactical way. He wanted to put pressure on the government. He wanted to put pressure on the DoD. And you know what happened? They started to admit, yeah, we don't know what this is. We can't explain it. Sure, when you look at the footage, not accompanied with data, yeah, it could be a fucking balloon or a drone or whatever. But if these trained men who are not allowed to accompany this footage with the data they have, there is something going on.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 I honestly do believe that there is an element of confusion and unknown, and super smart people in super big positions are going, what is this? I do believe that exists. But I also believe that because of the stigma attached to that, the rest of the stuff gets dismissed, laughed at, or surprisingly, shockingly, scarily dismissed.
Right.
I mean, even on 60 Minutes, when Dietrich and Fravor were on 60 Minutes, they said, ridicule after we had our sighting, we experienced ridicule, laughter for days, weeks, and maybe the admiral made a call about it.
Yeah.
What? Like, if it had been a Russian MiG 22 or MiG 21 buzzing them, it would have been a lot more serious. But the fact, just because it didn't have wings, propulsion, it looked weird. It's dealt with laughter and ridicule, and that stigma still exists to this day. And that is scary. That maybe it is somebody trying to test our military's limits so that they
Right.
can know how to best overcome us. And that's being dealt with laughter and ridicule and dismissiveness. I think that's our priority, man. Like, I think the cool, unknown, otherworldly stuff is great.
You know what I
But I
thought?
think our
I saw.
priority should be that.
Right, right. I like your journalistic instinct. Or your reflex. Let's not buy all of it. Let's first investigate and let's not, let get taken away into the rabbit hole, which is a great thing. I was going somewhere. I forgot. I have Alzheimer's.
Well, no, let me just say that, like, humans, uh, the human brain hates mysteries. The
Right.
human brain lusts after an answer to that mystery.
Yeah.
Like, we can't stand not knowing. We have to know. And when presented
Explain everything.
when presented with limited evidence or limited knowledge about whatever it is, the human mind tends to just fill in the gaps with whatever to, like,
Right.
react to that. And I think a lot of that's happening now. We see a blurry dot on a FLIR screen and we have a story behind it. And a lot of us and a lot of people, and I'm guilty of it as well, we fill in the gaps with
Right.
stuff that's not necessarily there. And I honestly, man, guys, do this. Go read Tyler Rogueway's article in the War Zone about drones and UFOs, and look at the hazard reports.
Corbell is in.
Oh yeah,
Let's
here.
see this.
It's radar. It's radar stuff.
Oh, it's radar stuff. Where's from? Oh, it's the radar footage.
Yeah, it's radar footage.
All right.
Supposedly, is radar
Yeah.
footage filmed in 2019 of unidentified aircraft encounters or unidentified object encounters. Yeah, radar data, which is always good. You want to have radar data.
Yeah, but
You know?
is this the radar data, which belongs with the footage he released
I don't
just a
know.
couple of?
Yeah, I just saw it right before I hopped on here, and I was like, "Oh, cool, radar data. That's rad." Yeah, well, it helps us to figure it out. I hope people look at that radar data without the lens of aliens or UFOs right off the bat. Like, let's look at it as something is messing with our military, and
Right.
let's figure out what it is. Honestly, man, a lot of the stuff, a lot of what people claim is evidence isn't showing much of anything, meaning visually. I'm not watching anything.
Okay, so I got confirmation from my buddy Vinny from the UK disclosure team that it is actually the radar data from the US Omaha,
Yeah,
which was the footage shared by Corbell a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, that's great. Like, we need this stuff, and the fact, in a lot of ways, it's like it's good that Jeremy is releasing this stuff, because we're learning more and more that um, they wanted this stuff not to come out to the public. It was not
Right.
intended for the public to see this. And if it wasn't for like leaks like this, or even the OG leaks in the New York Times of Go Fast Gimbal, like, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. There wouldn't be this mandated pressure from Congress. There wouldn't be an IG evaluation. None of this would happen if it wasn't for people releasing stuff to the public. And so what Jeremy is doing is, I think, essential, because the conversation's happening, the data is being analyzed, the calls for more transparency is happening. I say bravo. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do think Jeremy, he releases these images, and he does take a risk, because for journalists it's hard to you need your sources, and he can't give us the sources, he can't give us the data. So, but then again, it's also something they want to disclose, and that's why we have a problem. You know what, Stephen, I did like your interview with Elizondo the last time. I enjoyed that. I like your style too. You were very you had very compelling questions. I liked the one where you asked him, how do you research this? How do these observables work? And then he disclosed to you that he treats it like sort of a car crash, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
As soon as he went with that analogy, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I so love that, because I use that in my last interview with Elizondo, because in my first interview I asked him about DNA retrieval from anywhere,
Uh-huh.
and then he talked about, I think it was NTR, something that is not DNA, but it's something like viruses have. It's like an equivalent to DNA, but DNA is very earthly, like everything, every living organism has DNA, right?
Right.
But like, for example, a virus or a bacteria has NTR. So then we came to like the exotic materials retrieved by, the UAP by ATIP.
Uh-huh.
And, it there is unknown biological material retrieved. To get back onto your question,
Yeah.
you asked Elizondo.
Yeah, because the question is, like, literally, I can't understand. I mean, beyond videos, beyond photos, beyond some radar and electrical optical data, how the hell do you study UFOs? Like, how are you doing it?
Yeah,
And
He didn't want to. He didn't want to ask my DNA, answer my DNA question the first time. He said, "Pass, just a hard pass." Then you asked that question,
yeah.
and I was so happy, dude. I was so happy.
Because think about it, if a new species of animal, for example, was discovered, and it was discovered because someone took a video of it, how would you study that new species of animal? You wouldn't just take more videos of it, or you'd go and study that animal in
Cut it
person.
up.
You don't want to just look at a picture of an animal and be like, okay, you want to go see that animal.
Look at the inside.
Yeah, and it's like, so yeah, so how the hell are people studying UFOs based on just and only radar video data? So when he said, well, it's like a car crash, you go up to the vehicles and you see their trajectory, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Man, the
Vehicle.
expression on your face. I just saw this coin drop in your head, and you were like, ah, gotcha.
What's fascinating, and Eric Davis, Dr. Eric Davis says that the UAP are so beyond comprehension that there can be no like legislative reaction to it. There can be no military reaction to it because it's so outside our like current understanding of things. And he literally says that they just tuck it away in the classified dusty storage warehouses, waiting for us to like pull it out in a few years and hopefully, understand what we're looking at.
Yeah. So what do you think, Stephen? When you look at somebody like Lou Elizondo, Senator Reid, Senator Mellon, and let's stay very skeptical as journalists. Why would they compromise their reputation, their livelihood, their whole careers for something,
Yeah, so something so crazy and outlandish as UFO.
Yeah.
Is what you're trying to say? Yeah. Well, first of all, people do that all the time.
Right.
People risk their like reputations and life on like a TikTok viral video or something, so it's like the level of so I'm saying that's human nature. That's not to say that I don't believe them. I mean, these are legitimate people with legitimate backgrounds who had legitimate careers and
highly educated.
You can't just dismiss it because of that. So I believe that they believe it 100%. They're not.
Yeah.
So I am not in any camp whatsoever to say they're making it up or they're doing something nefarious. I don't believe that at all. Like, there is a sincerity across the board from real, legitimate people, from generals to Defense Intelligence Agency folks to Pentagon people to Navy pilots. Something's going on. So I don't know what that is yet.
Now, Stephen, I have been looking at your basement office, and you actually shared your UAP story.
Yeah, I saw a UFO, man. I saw a UFO. Cool. So you want me to share that with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll share mine because I had one for the first time just a week ago.
Oh, really? Just a week ago?
Just a week ago, and I have the footage because I filmed it.
What? How close were you?
Yes, on my balcony.
Off your Wait, it was right off your balcony?
In the center of Amsterdam East, on my balcony, having a bad habit, smoking. Okay, so now I'm telling mine already.
So do you want to hear mine? You want to just go?
Yeah. Shoot. Go.
Okay, so I was in Provo, Utah in 2003. I was a Mormon at the time, from the Mormon religion, and I was working as a production assistant on a Mormon film outside the Mormon film studio, this big hangar-looking film studio. And my job was to, I was outside the main studio door, and they have a red light above the door. Red light on
Right.
means don't come in this door. We're filming inside. So I was standing out. It was kind of cold. No, I think it was November 2003. And I was literally just hanging out there for hours. And I think I was on my phone, and something caught my eye over here. And I looked up, and there was this triangle. There was no body. It was just two sticks like this, two black sticks with blue lights along the bottom.
Right.
And it was flying under the clouds. So the clouds were fast moving clouds, and it was flying under the clouds. And right off the bat, I was like, cool, because it looked like a B-2 bomber. It had the same kind of like look for B-2 bomber. And as it got in the zenith right above me, I kept waiting for the sound we all hear when a plane flies by, which is that sound.
Yeah.
And when it hit above me and started going past me, and it made zero sound, I got this like cold feeling. It was like this cold feeling rushed over me, and it was like my brain wasn't used to that. I was like, wait, where's the sound? It's huge. It's massive. It's not moving fast, so it's obviously being kept in the air, and it was solid. There's no sound. And so
Yeah.
This weird emotion like rushed over me. It was like this cold kind of scared feeling, and it like disappeared, and then the light went off and people came out of the door, and that like snapped me out of it. And I was like, and like went inside and kind of got back into, I told some people what I just saw, but I had to like get back into work, and but that emotion, the sighting, and how I felt seeing that like has always stuck with me.
Yeah. Wow. That sounds like a very intense experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I wish it was. I could say it was more intense. It was like, it was confusing. It was kind of like, it went from like, oh, cool, to like, wait, oh my God, that was like exciting, because again, something that big, that solid, flying that slow requires a lot of energy to stay in the air, if it in fact is a heavy weighted object. And that energy makes noise. It does. A lot of energy, propulsion makes noise, and it made no sound. And that creeped me the hell out.
Okay, now me. Yeah, so I've been covering this UAP thing not that long. I got the green light because of I freelance for a magazine, a national magazine here in Holland. I got to cover it, and I decided to do it through Zoom and YouTube and Face, StreamYard, etc. Because I also have a podcast, so I thought, like two birds with one stone or something. But I started writing and writing and writing, talking to people like Lou, like Macmillan, you, etc. So when I go outside, I tend to look at the sky now. I don't know if you have the same.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So I because of COVID, I started smoking a lot, so I have to go to the damn balcony to have my bad habit. And it was late. I was working late that evening last week, and I look at the sky. I see three stars, three dots. I think it's just stars, but now they're moving like whoop, and then whoop, like like this, but then also like up and down and left to right and up and down, like individually. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? Mm-hmm. And and then I see one from there. There's more. I notice more, and they are moving in, and they're way up, and like, what the hell is going on right now? Uh-huh. And then I grab my camera. I try to, see if I can film it. But there's a lot of light pollution in Amsterdam, of course. So it's hard to get a good, clear shot. But One of those in the triangle brights up, shoots down, and disappears right behind a building.
Huh.
And that I have on film.
No shit. I
Yeah,
want to see it. Have you released that? Have you?
yeah, I did. Well,
Oh,
I actually I shared it. I shared it with my buddy Luis Jimenez.
okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Travis. $5. Yes.
I want to see that because that reminds me. I've seen other footage similar to what you just described. There's
Yeah.
lots of footage from around the world, actually, of orbs moving kind of like this, and
Right.
then other orbs coming in, and they seem to like interact and then disappear. And it's weird looking stuff. I actually cut a montage of all the best footage I've seen on that. I'd be curious. I want to see yours, man, because it some of this footage is like hard to say it's a satellite or it's a flock of birds because
No, look. I had been observing what was going on for about an hour before I saw that. Right.
yeah,
Look, I got to say this, Travis. You want to see the footage? I am going to upload it on YouTube. All right, my man. And thank you for the $5. This is the second time I got money. Love it. So yeah, I will. Well, thank you, Vinny. Man, gave me almost £10.
hell yeah, Vinny.
Do you know Vinny, by the way, Disclosure Team UK? He has a huge
Oh,
Instagram community over there,
okay, yeah, okay, yeah, hell yeah, awesome.
and he's gonna start his own YouTube channel, and he got Louis. So
Yeah,
congratulations, Vinny.
dude,
Okay,
Lou
so
Elizondo is like he's done like 1.6 million interviews in the last week.
yeah, definitely,
Guy doesn't
definitely.
sleep. I mean, I just wonder if he just ever sleeps.
No,
Wow, the guy is doing so many interviews, man.
yeah, yeah. So I was watching this for a while, and like my mind was blown. And look, Stephen, I hadn't seen a UEP in my life. In my life, never saw anything. So I'm like, what the hell? Is this topic driving me nuts? Am I now starting to see fucking UFOs? What's wrong with me? But I filmed it and it's actually there. you know?
Yeah, is your mind playing tricks on you? But that's great.
Yeah.
I want to see it. It's actually a common sighting as of late. Are like groups of orbs acting, weirdly and erratically.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Me? Am I frozen?
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
Yeah, no. I thought you were still talking.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So what's next, man? What are we? Of course this is going to escalate. This is going to snowball with Lou, with the Pentagon. What do you think is going to happen when the ultimatum ends and they're gonna share reports? Because now we find out they delete everything Lou ever mailed.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is they're going to release something more or less boilerplate. If I had to guess, come June, we're not going to get much of anything. They're going to ask for an extension, which is understandable. I mean, Lou even says himself, it takes longer to, what's he say? He says it takes longer to remodel a kitchen than it does to release a 180-day report,
Right.
especially about this topic. So, filing for an extension is reasonable, I think. But I don't think, Lou says the cat's out of the bag. I agree with that. Like there's no turning back now. You've got everybody making phone calls, sending emails, beating down the door of congressional leaders. Like everyone's involved. I honestly think in 2024, this is going to be a platform. Like presidential candidates will have a UAP platform.
You
Like
know what?
honestly, I'd like elect me and I'll get to the bottom of it, or elect me and I'll like get more stuff, or I'll
I,
hold them accountable, or something like that. Like I can honestly see that happening.
I think you're dead on, dude. I think you're dead on. You know what? Trump is going to run for president again, I'm sure. And I heard Trump really wants to talk about UAPs.
Really?
Yeah.
Trump talking about UAPs. Dude, what timeline do we live in, man? Donald Trump talking about UFOs on a national platform.
Now, my friend Steven, first of all, when Donald Trump became president, I thought it was a practical joke. It is like your dirty uncle becoming president, and you and your cousins are just watching for him to do something really, really dumb. But then he starts talking, UAPs and stuff. Yeah. And almost disclosing them, I heard.
Ah, really? That
Yeah.
okay? Cool.
It's like we're in it's like a weird movie, this. But then again, I am enjoying this, and I am in for the ride.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you about two things where my brain's at, and then I probably have to head out of here.
Yeah.
Two things that one is water. I asked Lou about water and the role
Right.
water plays with UAP, because it was like a puzzle piece that clicked for me while doing the basement office. And then, curiously enough, if you go back and look at a lot of famous cases, whether it be the famous saucer photographs from Santa Ana, California, the Heflin photos, and you look at a map, you're like, holy crap, this is near water. Oh, this is near water. Oh, this one is near water. And you're like, wow, a lot of stuff, water plays a big role. So I'm currently obsessed with water, and I'm currently obsessed with what the hell's going on at the bottoms of our oceans, potentially. And another thing is, and I swear I got this information from Leslie Kean's book, but I think Chris Mellon has also spoken to it, is the triangles, the classic black triangles, the ones described in Belgium, etc. They seem to be on some kind of cartography mission. It's been said that they're scanning the terrain,
Right.
geography, almost like they're like creating a map or
Right.
like something. So like my current obsession, this is just me personally, my current obsession is like figuring out like what the hell that means and why UFOs may be scanning the surface of the earth in some kind of cartography mission. And is it similar to what our Mars rover is currently doing on Mars? Are the UAP that we're seeing the equivalent to a Mars rover sent out, lands?
Yeah, I
Right.
think I agree with you. And, it's like their Google Maps now, they're checking it out. And in about 10 years, we're going to be a alien pet.
Yeah, we're just going to be alien pets. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I like, dude, it's just like this world is so insane right now. The world we're living in is so upside down. Like, I almost want someone to come in and say, heal. Behave. Behave. And be like, oh, okay.
Hey, on that note, Stephen, hey, man, it was a privilege and an honor to have you on my podcast.
Yeah, thanks,
And,
man. Thanks for having me on.
And, if you're up for it, let's do it again.
Hell
sometime.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
You have a good day too, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.